Howdy, and welcome to the 16th episode of the Portable Gaming Podcast. I am Cowboy Gamer, if you don't know. I do a kind of a weekly podcast solo currently, still working on getting co-hosts and stuff like that, but just my standard podcasts of what I've been playing, news, and then what's coming out, specifically podcasts or portable gaming related. So mostly focusing on 3DS and Vita. So let's get into what I have been playing lately. Actually, let's go back a little bit. We'll backtrack. Let's do some channel updates. I'll probably put another video that'll specifically say what I'm doing to my channel, but if you haven't noticed, I've been trying to put out a lot more content. I've been getting Shadowplay working on my computer, so I've been uploading a lot of videos of me playing currently World of Warships. I'm also recording a lot of Civilization 5, but I'm kind of waiting to upload until I have a series completed, because if I don't want to just play like halfway through and then get decimated quick. I'd like to start off on a high note, maybe get a win, but I want to finish it first. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I am going to be doing some Skyrim videos. However, that's not until around Christmas, mostly because around Christmas I will be getting a 3 terabyte external hard drive. Doing this YouTube and everything, I'm really starting to fill up on hard drive space, and all these videos are really taking up a lot of data. So I'm going to be getting a larger external specifically for my YouTube channel and all my online activity. Because of that, I want to start a game series that I'm not used to, but a lot of people have loved. Cowgirl Gamer really loves some of the soundtracks to Skyrim, and a lot of my friends have played it and are still playing it on occasion, so I'm going to get into it. I got it all the way back when it first came out, played about 4 hours, but the problem was the PC I had at that time was not able to handle the games. Oh, it was very jittery. Later on in the game, it would have caused a lot of problems. So I kind of just stopped, fell away, and didn't really like it. I also picked a really hard class to start off with. So what I'm going to be doing is, hopefully around Christmas, I will start recording, throwing up some videos, and it will be me going through all of Skyrim. Pretty much we'll stop kind of once I beat the game. We'll maybe do extra quests and stuff based on what people want. And if the views start to go down, of course I'll be switching to something else. But that's kind of what I'm doing with the channel. Now let's get into what I've been playing. I will start off with my mobile. I'm still just playing Fallout Shelter on my mobile. I'm currently up to 109 dwellers. I kind of wait at 9s, just because it seems like when you cross over to that next point, sometimes things get harder. I know right when I went to 60, it just seemed like enemies started getting more difficult and harder to kill. So I'm kind of waiting at the 109. I don't know if there's a boundary at 110, but it just seems like as you get more dwellers, the game can get more difficult. I have, I think, currently 5 of my dwellers that are max stats, and 4 of them are max level at 50. So those guys I've been sending out to the Wasteland to find new weapons, just so all my guys in my vault don't just have pistols and shotguns and rifles, but instead I'm upgrading guys to flamers and plasma weapons. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. I'm trying to see if I can find some rare weapons, and just kind of completing the lunch boxes. The dwellers, there are 20 rare dwellers, and it seems like no one has said if you can find any out in the Wasteland. It seems like they're just lunchbox. And one of the final achievements that I think I'm going to be able to get for this game is when I get all 20 dwellers. So that's kind of where I'm going right now. It's a game that I've pretty much reached kind of the peak. I need to save up a lot of caps and kind of swap out all of my my like water areas, my food areas, my power, and just swap it all out for more upgraded components, and then upgrade those to the max level. And so it's kind of a slow process. I've got a lot of guys that are max of a lot of stats, so that's awesome. And just leveling up all my guys to 50. But right now I'm just kind of waiting on. Waiting right here. I know that a lot of people say after you get past the 120 mark, sometimes phones start to have a problem bugging, and I'm already starting to have problems when I get attacked healing up guys because it doesn't show health bars, and so I'm literally clicking on each one, and some of the creatures are really doing a lot of damage quickly, so I need to be on top of my game and healing them. And that's just been a little problem as I've gotten past the 100 dweller mark. So that's kind of where I'm at. On the Nintendo front, I have not been playing anything. I apologize to people. I know I've been talking a lot about the Plague Knight DLC, but I haven't even done anything with that. Pretty much this last week, I've just been really doing a lot of PC stuff, working on my channel, and I haven't had as much time for the 3DS. I kind of had to, it's really one mobile game and a couple things on two different fronts, PC, Sony, and Nintendo, and mobile, so I can pick usually 3 things, and mobile's kind of just the one that's always going. So this week I kind of focused on the PC and the Sony side, so nothing on the Nintendo. On the Sony side, well, we'll do PC first. If you've been seeing my channel, I've been doing World of Warships. It hasn't been out very long, a little over a month if I know right. I know there was a lot of testing beforehand, but it's officially out. In the War series, so World of Tanks, World of Planes, and now World of Warships. They're kind of 1900s to 1960s battleships, destroyers, cruisers, and aircraft carriers. There is no submarines at the moment. People want them, but I don't know if the game would really allow it that well, and it would be fun. But free to start and play. You can get premium status, which gets you more experience, allows you to buy more things, get more slots for more ships. But I'm kind of just staying on the free path right now, but I've been uploading a lot to my channel since the games are usually about 20 minutes and that's it, which I really like compared to like Dota, where it's pretty much 45 to 60 minutes for a game. World of Warships is a lot quicker, so you can do a lot more. I'm currently focusing mostly on Battleship, and I'm on the Japanese side. I know that sounds bad, but at the beginning of the game they just had US and Japan, 10 tiers of each, so you go through and get your ship, you level it up, you get experience, and then when you have enough experience you can buy the next tier of ship. So that's kind of where I'm at. Japan is just huge on firepower. American stuff is a lot more supportive and works really well as long as you're working together. and just all-rounded ship. But Japanese just have the firepower, and that's why I decided I want to go for. And a lot of people are really scared of this Japanese battleship tier 10 called the Yamato, so that was my goal. I've been seeing a lot of fun with cruisers and destroyers, but excuse me, each ships have their own specialities. They change. They are all modeled after real ships that were around. So it's also kind of a history game. You can learn. It shows captains. It shows when the ship was started. You can really figure out like the guns and the layout and cool things like that. So it's very realistic. People that are huge into World War II, World War I, naval warfare love this game, and a lot of people talk about the history behind the ships as they're playing like on streams and stuff. So I'm also just kind of trying to promote the game. I know Twitch really pushed it, and I'm not getting any money for saying that. It's just a new game. I've always kind of wanted to get into this war series. I just didn't really want to play tanks or planes, so just kind of caught me off guard that it came out, and that's why I've been playing. Also, for my channel, I love watching Quill 18 and Marvazir play Civilization. I was way back a big Civ fan in Civ 2, 3, the early ones. And I got Civ 5 when it came out, wanted to play with my friends, and actually two of my friends split the cost and got me the expansion, so I have Brave New World. But I really like the kind of, like you can listen, you kind of get a gist of what's going on without watching, but you can sit down and watch someone play out a whole series, and it works pretty well for recording and for uploading to the channel. So that's what else I've been doing. Currently, I've been playing a ton of different civs, trying to get recordings figured out. There have been some bugs I still need to get worked on, but I just, a couple days ago, figured out what was wrong, took care of it, and so I've started a brand new series because I didn't want to do a series that kept bugging constantly. So I deleted all my other games, unfortunately, and I'm starting fresh. So I'm currently playing as Poland, and I'm playing on large islands, which kind of gives each civilization their own island to start on. I know Naval is a little bit weaker for the AI, so it's a little easier to win. I'm not doing the highest difficulty. Mostly, I just want to have a really good first game upload to YouTube, and then I will slowly do other maps, and I will do different civilizations, stuff like that, and I will make it harder and faster. I'm not up at the Marvazir level or even the Quill level to some extent, but we'll see. I might throw out information or questions, see if people want me to do specific things or civilizations. Hopefully that stuff will be coming more around middle of November, possibly December. It just depends on how much time I have to finish my first Civilization series. So that's kind of just what we're waiting on. I haven't done any Dota. Had to work late on Dota night, so I got back and really just... I technically got one game in, but it was really fast. Wasn't a lot to it. So it was just like a random, like, oh, it's like 11:30, 11 o'clock at night. Does anyone want to play one last game, even though kind of Dota nights kaput and done? But got into it, played it, and that was it last week, especially with me getting over my sickness. Now let's talk about the Vita. As you guys know, I've been working on Final Fantasy X. Still getting really far in that. I currently think I have enough Fortune Spheres for all the seven characters. There still may need more for upgrading Aeons, but got the Fortune Spheres that I need for characters, so that's cool. So now I'm currently taking on what is called in the arena Ironclad to get HP Spheres, and I figure I need probably another 200 to max HP out for everyone. So still been just doing that. It's a little monotonous. To be honest, fighting the Earth Eater for Fortune Spheres was getting me a lot more experience on people, which I still need a ton of experience to get all the way up to 99 so I can get through the sphere grid quicker and easier and unlock everything so I can complete a sphere grid. So that's kind of what I've been doing recently. Also, I can't really go into too much detail, but I did get a free copy of Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Now, I'm recording this on the 6th. If I remember right, it came out last Friday, and I got a game just 3 days later. I don't have it for forever, and I can't explain all of the workings with that, but I got a game to play. I haven't done the Persona series ever. I've been looking at it. A lot of people talk about it. It's cool. I'm also not super big into rhythm games. I used to play Guitar Hero a little bit way back in my college days, but that kind of went away. It never really clicked. But since I got a free copy for a while, I decided I'd give it a try. I wanted to see what Persona 4 was all about, this giant JRPG, and I wanted to see what the rhythm game was like. So I started it up. I haven't played too much. I usually like story modes, even though it's a rhythm-based game. Started up the story mode, and if people love this, I apologize. Don't take it completely offensive. Persona 4 Dancing All Night has way too much talking. Just way too much. If you sit and actually read it all and don't just skip everything, in the story mode alone, I have danced the tutorial, and that's it. I have not done, or no, I did one other song. So I did 2 tutorials and 1 song. So I don't know if you count the tutorials really, but the amount of reading, I've already been playing the game for about 2.5 hours and just done tutorial and 1 dance. That is really sad in my book. I understand JRPGs, there's a lot more reading, a lot more story to it, and people can really get into it. And I understand I don't know the characters, so maybe I need to be reading more, but there are times when I'm just like, this could have been summed up in 5-minute conversation between these 3 characters instead of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then they throw in like what the character was even thinking and like visual cues, like because it's not a great visual game, it just kind of throws the 2 characters up on the screen that are talking and they don't move, then just words scroll across and you understand you're having a conversation, but it throws up little things like, oh, this person looked down on you, this person takes a nod like they think they hear something in a faraway room, stuff like that. I do enjoy the rhythm-based aspect of the game. In Guitar Hero, it was all about the 5 buttons and stuff, and it wasn't too bad. For the Vita version, there is 3 buttons on the right, the analog sticks, and 3 buttons on the D-pad, and that's all you have to do. It's got holds, it's got notes at the same time, unison notes, and it's got individual. I'm also on pretty easy, so I haven't really gone to some of the more complicated stuff. But the rhythm-based aspect is pretty good. Some of the songs are American words, there's some Japanese beats and stuff, but the rhythm-based gameplay I'm enjoying. The story, not so much. I'm kind of at the point where I kind of get what's going on and then I just skip the rest of it just because I want to get to the next dancing part in the story. There is a just free dancing part where you can just play songs, and as you get more you can unlock songs and stuff and get up difficulties, stuff like that. So that's something that's kind of fun too, but we'll see. For the first iteration into a rhythm-based game, and it's a Persona 4, I probably chose a bad one for Persona 4 and the story amount of aspect of the game, but the rhythm-based, I'm enjoying. So I might play it a couple more weeks, and we'll see. Also on that note, since it's the 6th, the PS Plus games are out, and I have to turn on Broken Age. I need to figure out, I need to get it, download it. This game was super interesting as a point-and-click type game. And just kind of, I know that was the thing way back in the 90s and late 90s with games, and people still do it today, but this is off of a pretty big known guy, worked for Lucas Studios, and he's done some interesting games, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. It's not super long, but it's point and click, and it's got a good story, I keep hearing. I was not really going to pay money for this game. Because I think it's 10 or 15, something like that. I didn't want to pay for it, but I was hoping that eventually it would come to the PS Plus subscription base, and so luckily that's happened. I'll download it hopefully today, and then hopefully next week or sometime this month I will turn it on and hopefully play it through and beat it and finish it so I can talk about it. But yeah, that's what's going to be coming up hopefully in the next week, and probably more Final Fantasy X, Persona 4, and Broken Age for next week. But that concludes what I've been playing this week. Let's get into some gaming news. This is kind of a weird story, and I'll explain why I chose it, but Twisted Pixel has left Microsoft. I don't know if they bought out their contract, what they had to do to leave, but they have left Microsoft. This allows them to make other games. They make very good games along the lines of Vita and 3DS and Wii U type quality. So I'm hoping now that they've left Microsoft, this opens them up to be able to be like, okay, we're going to put these games, and our next game is going to be on all consoles, and we're going to put it on the Vita and the 3DS. So that's why I wanted to dwell on it for just a moment. Nintendo. Not a lot of news still coming from Nintendo. Just still in the wake of new president, all of this stuff. I know there hasn't been as much news. Nintendo doesn't put out tons of games like Sony. They don't have tons of publishing company or tons of game developers just behind them to just throw out games constantly. But still a little bit of news. Amiibo's still going strong. Nintendo is going to be bringing back Little Mac, Greninja, Shulk, Lucario, Fox, and Captain Falcon. Those are amiibo that have already come out, sold out, people want them back, so they are going to be coming out. I think a couple of these might already be out at the retailers. Right after this news story broke, like a couple days later, people were already spotting these at retailers. So that's awesome that we're still getting amiibo. Nintendo's trying to help their fanboy base get these. Also, Nintendo announced more Animal Crossing amiibo. They only had so many at E3, and now there's even more. I don't know if they're going to do actual amiibo figure for every single figure in the cards. That would be cool, but that's bigger probably than the Super Smash Brothers lineup. So we're looking more at like 75 amiibo for Animal Crossing. It is a big series for Nintendo. Nintendo loves Animal Crossing, and people love it too. It's pretty much Pokemon, some of the main Mario, Zelda, stuff like that, but Animal Crossing has still been coming out strong lately. So we'll see if these amiibo work out in the long run, and how much, if people really want to buy Animal Crossing figures as well. I like a couple of them. I'm not really too knowing of the Animal Crossing line, but some of the figures, they just look interesting, so kind of cool on that. Smash Brothers news. There is a pirate ship level and a Mario Maker stage that are out. The Mario Maker stage, obviously, Nintendo just put out Mario Maker. People love it. So it seems like whenever they're putting out a pretty big game in their part, they add in a stage on the game. I don't know if these are both just on the Wii U or 3DS. I know I'm more of a talking about the 3DS, but I haven't done the research to figure it out. I just know these stages came out. Mario Maker, it is on the Wii U, so I would expect it's only on the Wii U version. Pirate Ship is based off of an old stage in one of their older iterations of Smash, so I'm hoping it's on both. But I wanted to throw that out because Smash Brothers is still relevant today. People are still playing that, loving it. There are tournaments. It's really turning out to be a very large version of Nintendo's history and continued profitability. Couple other games got some release dates from Nintendo. These are both in Japan, but wanted to throw them out. Monster Strike 3DS is going to be released in Japan on December 17th, and Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final is going to be released next year in Japan on February 10th. So that's just a little something. If there's ever Japanese listeners, I also throw up some European stuff too for you Europeans. Probably just mostly Americans, but I do have some listeners from other countries. So want to include all that. Sony stuff, about the same amount of news, a little bit more in my opinion, but I talked about Broken Age earlier. The PS Plus lineup for October came out this week. It is technically out today, so by the time you hear this, hopefully the games are already available to download. But for the Vita, we have Super Meat Boy, Kick Beat, and Kung Fu Rabbit, as well as Broken Age. And like I said before, I'm just super interested in Broken Age. The other games, not so much. A lot of people keep talking about Super Meat Boy. I don't know if they've sold me on it yet. So gonna work on getting the game and just Broken Age for now. So hopefully the game turns out to be as good as some other people are saying, and hopefully I can enjoy it and finish it. I have been really enjoying some of the PlayStation Plus games and some of the indie developers. They just have they can do things that other games cannot, and sometimes that just really helps you get a unique story or get something different than what you expect, and sometimes that really just enhances the experience. So I'm hoping Broken Age can be a game like that. Broforce, it was a side-scrolling action shooter, and I say was, because it has been canceled. I do not know why it has been canceled, but it was canceled. Axiom Verge, a game we have heard a lot about. People on PS4 love it. A lot of people keep talking about it, and a lot of people want it on the Vita. That is still in the works currently. There's a lot of... This game was made by a single person, and there is a lot of work currently going into porting it to the Vita. And all of that work, there's a lot of difficulties currently. You can go to Axiom Verge creator's blog if you want to read up more on stuff, but in the blog he states that he hopes the game will be out before the end of this year. I hope that too. I'm really more thinking it's going to be beginning of 2016 in the first quarter, but they still say this game is coming to the Vita, so I'm still excited about that. Metroidvania games are always interesting to me, so hopefully more on that. Games that were announced for the Vita. We have, and no dates on any of this, that's why it's in my announced group, but Red Game Without a Great Name, just kind of a weird title, but I like it. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. Dex, which is a cyberpunk RPG. Pavilion, this game should be coming out, well, it's a 2-chapter game, at least. And it, kind of like Broken Age, had the 2 episode parts, but currently people are still saying that the first chapter is going to be out before the end of this year, and then the second one will come out sometime next year. And also a Kickstarter game hit its one of its stretch goals, unlocks, whatever you want to call it, but it broke $500,000, so it says there is going to be a PS Vita port coming, and that is Muv-Luv. Another weird game, but it's worth noting at least. And now let's throw what games are coming out and what games have come out recently. New games for Nintendo. We have Chronos Arc, which is an RPG, kind of old Final Fantasy, like on the Super Nintendo type style, so kind of 16-bit, old school type graphics. So looks kind of like that. I don't know the story or anything else behind it, but the visual like that. So interesting. I just, there's so many RPGs, you gotta just kind of pick which one you want to go on and do that. This next game, Nintendo's website says it's released. I have not been able to confirm this. No one else has picked up on this being released, so I don't know, but it's Antipole DX. I wanted to check through the eShop. I just haven't had time to find out if I was able to purchase this game, and then I would know, but Nintendo says it's supposed to be out currently, so we'll see. Also, coming out on October 9th, we have Chibi Robo Ziplash. I know Nintendo's kind of been pushing this game, and some people really like the idea of this game and some of the mechanics to it. I'm not sold. I don't want this game. Don't like the graphics. I don't like this chibi style. I don't want it. So, for you, those of you that are interested in it, go out and get it if you want. Tell me about it, but I don't have enough money to just be purchasing every single Nintendo game that is going to be released. Also, on the 3DS, on October 13th, The Legend of Legacy is supposed to be coming out. And that is it for Nintendo. I know there are some themes, some updates, and other things like that, but sorry, I'm not really going to talk about the themes. Otherwise, I'd have to get into the Vita themes too, and there's just this theme, this theme, this theme, this theme, this theme, and really without pictures, it's not worth me talking about. So, go online, look at the 3DS themes that are out recently, look at the Vita themes, you can see it in the store, and see if anything like that looks cool. I'm just not as big into the themes. I kind of just got one right at the beginning, and that's kind of what I've stuck with the whole time. For Sony, we have a lot out this week, and not too much coming out in the next week, but a lot out this week. Well, I guess technically it's a new week, but within the last week since I did my last cast. New games that are out. We have Death Tales, Gem Legends, Samurai Warriors 4 2, or Part 2, Farming Simulator 16. I will say something about farming simulators. I used to play them way back on Mac and PC. I kind of just, if I want a farming simulator, I'd probably just get a cheaper version, like a Facebook type game even, rather than purchasing a simulator game. PC is going to do a better simulator game than most consoles and most handhelds. Possibly mobile could do a good one, but I haven't seen one. And I really don't like too many mobile games unless they're free. And that just makes me a bad person, because mobile games are really just destroying the great gaming that there is out there. Hopefully Nintendo saves it a bit. Mega Man Legends should be out. Super Meat Boy, because it's a PlayStation Plus. Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax should be out. And finally, Persona 4 Dancing All Night. So that is what is out for Vita. And then coming out on the 13th, we have 3/4 Home Extended Edition and Corpse Party Blood Drive. So that is what we have out for new games and what's coming out shortly. No really big updates. I know there was an update to the PS Vita, but not something I really want to talk about much, just because it improved bug fixes and improved gameplay, supposedly. Well, not really gameplay so much, but just kind of worked out some little bits in the Vita. Nothing too major. It didn't just add a ton of awesome things. There was a note that the Twitch app would be coming to the Vita, so that's something to look forward to later on down the line, maybe later this year or early next, supposedly by the end of this year, but we'll see. There's so many different ways of watching Twitch now. I don't know if the Vita that's going to help the Vita that much. But that has been all of your games out, your news, and what I've been playing. Hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. At least if you're coming back and you listen this far, you're kind of enjoying it. I've been keeping them a lot shorter. It's mostly because it's just me. There isn't as much to talk about, and I can't have a back and forth unless there's someone else with me. So it doesn't really make the podcast that much bigger. Also, sometimes smaller podcasts are just easier to listen to quickly, and they don't take up the hour and a half like some do. So mine's a lot more easily digestible. You can skip through my parts pretty easily and quick. I don't mix it all throughout. And, yeah. If you're liking it, like it, leave a comment, whatever. Still no winner on my $10 gift card. I'm sorry if the question was too hard. It requires you to actually listen through some of my podcasts to get the answer. However, I'm still the $10 gift card's still ready to whoever can win it. However, if it gets to Christmas and no one has won it, or Thanksgiving, I might just see if I can be thankful for something and maybe find a different way of getting it out there. So we'll see about that. As always, keep checking in on my channel. I will keep throwing up more stuff. Unfortunately, I know my podcast is handheld centered. It is not easy to get capturing devices for Vita, 3DS, for mobiles. It's just not something that's super easy. It's costly, and it's not something I want to be doing yet. I'd rather be putting money towards better programs for recording better audio, all of that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going with first. Plus, if I got that much money, I'd rather be saving it for upgrades and other things rather than working on capture devices yet. But that has been it for me, for Cowboy Gamer. Actually, one last part. I apologize for my other playlist grouping for reviews on horseback. I'm going to add into it a little bit, as I said a long time ago. It's just I haven't had time to get to the farm. And when I have, it hasn't given us really good opportunities to film anything. So I know I want to get some reviews out. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, I can get out to the farm and I can maybe get some more videos, some different types of videos, and all those reviews will be coming. So it's still in the works. Just bear with me. I am still just a new YouTube channel. It takes a while to get everything, but I hope you guys are still enjoying it, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Cowboy Gamer, signing off.